Hello, everyone. It's Nigel Seeley here. It's the final betting weekly game bet match of the week. And I'm delighted to say joining me is my co-host and our senior ATB Tour handicapper for Bet Rivers at Because We Win. It's Sean Calvert. Sean, you're having a little bit of moan up there about Fuchsovic. We've got him as our bet there, and he looked like he was going to win straight sets, but he's struggling a little bit at the moment.
Classic Fuchsovic, and if he goes on to lose this match, which he probably will, it's just one of them things. This is why I don't like watching. We talked about this the other week, didn't we? We don't like watching our matches. I'd much rather just let it play out and then be pleasantly surprised if they win, or happy when they win. But watching Fuchsovic it's always painful because he looks $1 million when he's playing his best stuff, but then the brain kicks in, as it did in this match. Classic Fuchsovic, set up against Bublik in conditions that are far from suitable for Bublik. Completely switches off, loses the second set, goes a break up in the third set, hits 4-on-4 stares in a row to give it back, and now he's in some sort of dogfight there in the third. So I'd rather just not watch these, but I felt I had to today, and I was just like, I wished I hadn't, to be honest. But there you go.
Listen, we're not over. We're still in good shape, and if he does win, we've got the sweep. We're pretty much the 2 episodes. Everything we've said on the show as cash. So we're in great profit
that'd be
anyway.
great.
We're in great profit anyway. But
I just feel like I've seen this film a million times before with Martin Fuchsovic. It never changes. He never does things the easy way. So we'll see. Yeah, if he wins, great. But it's still made my late morning / early afternoon a bit of a stressful affair. But there you go.
We'll see as this show goes on. I'm sure the result will come through in the show. So everyone, Fuchsovic against Bublik is currently 4-4 in the third set as we're recording this now. Before we go on to that, Sean, how's your health? How are you feeling? 70%, 40%? Is the cough still there? What's happening?
About the same as yesterday, to be honest with you. The cough's that's sort of died away a bit now. It's just been replaced with like a coldy type thing. Same as yesterday, in short.
Okay. No, same Sean, different day. That's the basis of the feeling there. Obviously, there's 3 tournaments this week, Sean, and it's called the order of play here at the moment. It's quite difficult to do some of the matches. So we've only got 3 matches we're going to talk about today or tomorrow in Rio. But before we talk about that, the big news overnight was Carlos Alcaraz twisting his ankle, turning his ankle over after just 2 games in his match. Did you see it? Did you see the size of the ankle? It swelled up very quickly. Didn't look good.
No, it didn't look that good, but they can often be a bit misleading. We'll have to see how he is in the next few days or whatever. But it could be a bit of a doubt for Indian Wells potentially. We'll have to see. I don't know how that's going to shape up, but obviously didn't look good for him yesterday.
He's going to announce he's planning to see the doctor and announce probably later in the week whether his participation in the Indian Wells. But for as far as the Rio tournament is, it's opened it up massively now. Defending champion Cam Norrie in the bottom half of the draw. He's now the tournament favourite. And a couple of the people we spoke about yesterday have been slashed in the betting, as you would do so if the minus money favourites got out. So if you took those leans were Seth Wild and also Garin, then you're in pretty good shape in Rio heading into tonight's action. And for tomorrow. So fingers crossed we might have a little bit of luck on the outright market there. Unfortunately, we don't really have any luck on the matches, as I said. Qatar is obviously in Doha. They're playing as we speak now. Places in the quarterfinals are up for grabs. We do know one quarterfinal, but there's no lines in it. We do know that Kachanov is through to the quarterfinal where he will play Ruusuvuori tomorrow. But we're still waiting for Bet Rivers to go up with their lines. We have the action this evening over in what's the other talk? I've got a brain freeze.
Yeah, Los Cabos.
Los Cabos. Yeah. That's the seamless. We don't know the matches for tomorrow, but we do know 3 matches over in Rio. Before we go on to those matches, the conditions again, is it changing, or is it as it was yesterday over in Brazil?
Well, there was a big old delay, wasn't there, yesterday? Those thunderstorms that I talked about were in the area. I don't think there's going to be too much of that today. According to the weather forecast I've seen, it's going to be cloudy and humid, 28 degrees, so warm and very, very humid as it always is in Rio. But it doesn't look like play will be delayed like it was yesterday. No.
Yeah, if you watch yesterday's show, you will see we have a bet this evening. Munar against Seth Wild. We've got a lean towards Seth Wild there at plus, I think it was plus 120. He's now plus 110. So there has been some money for the Brazilian. And we have 3 matches we're going to concentrate on. And these matches are going to be played on Thursday. in Rio. So it's the Thursday's match. You've got plenty of time to head to the Bet Rivers website. 28 different markets available on the Bet Rivers website. And if you do place a bet on any of these matches tomorrow or today, you can watch live and bet live with Bet Rivers. All these matches will be streamed live on the Bet Rivers website. So 3 matches we're going to speak about. We do not know the order of play yet, but what we do know is they will start around about 3 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday. So there's plenty of time to get your bets down. You don't have to rush. You can sit back, listen to the arguments that Sean's going to make and the case he's going to make for these players. They're not the most glamorous of games, though, Odyssey. It must be said, hasn't it? But, this is the hand we've been dealt this afternoon.
Yeah. I'm not sure these are the ones I would have chosen if we had, 10, 15 matches to choose from, but we only had the 3. So interesting matches, but perhaps not the ones I would have picked out. Let's put it that way.
The first one is a very interesting match, and it's a match between Facundo Diaz Acosta. Easy for me to say.
Yes.
He obviously shocked everyone last week. Well, not you, because you
didn't shock me.
Before.
It annoyed me. It didn't shock me. It annoyed me.
I know he won in Buenos Aires. He's an Argentinian player, and he's up against another Argentinian. It's Sebastian Baez. Facundo Diaz Acosta was Sean's pick at a monster 150-1 in Cordoba, where he got beaten by Baez in the quarterfinal stage, and obviously went on to win the following week, which is always a horrible thing when that happens. But the odds here are a bit different from when they last met. Sebastian Baez is minus 195. Diaz Acosta is plus 155. There's a spread of 2.5 with Diaz Acosta minus 107 and Baez minus 120. The total here is 22.5 with the under minus 129 favourite. When they did meet in Cordoba only a couple of weeks back, it was a very easy win for Sebastian Baez, 6-3, 6-1. But Diaz Acosta has come here with his first ATP Tour title in his country, full of confidence. Do we expect a blowout from Diaz Acosta, or do you think that he can continue that rich vein of form?
I think this is an extremely frustrating match for me to have to talk about, to be honest, because, as I said, we put up Diaz Acosta, or I did, in Cordoba at a massive price. Lost to Baez, the guy he's playing again, and because I think the reason he lost, one of the reasons he lost, was they both had to play 2 matches in the same day. Diaz Acosta had played a 3-setter already that day. Then he had to come out again and play Baez. Obviously lost, presumably due to, in no small part due to the fatigue. Goes to Buenos Aires and wins at 66-1. So to say that was frustrating is an understatement, but it's something that happens quite often, isn't it? I even mentioned it to Natasha earlier, and she said, that happens to you all the time. I'm like, yeah, I know. She knows nothing about tennis. I don't even think she's listening to me half the time, but yeah, even she's noticed that. So this is an interesting one. He's won the title last week in Buenos Aires, Diaz Acosta. You feel after all the emotions, I mean, this is by far the biggest thing he's ever done in this sport, and he's done it on his home soil. The emotions, the joy, all that, is there a letdown coming? You'd think at some point there probably is. But on the flip side of that, is he still just running on adrenaline? He's come to Rio in very different conditions. He's beaten Stanislas Wawrinka in straight sets in the end. And if you're looking on the just the pure stats of this season on clay, you would have to say Diaz Acosta is a bit of value here potentially. 2024 main level, including Davis Cup, on the clay. Diaz Acosta hasn't played Davis Cup, but Baez has. Diaz Acosta service points won every 10 points won total 110, and his service hold and break total 119. I know it's only 9 matches, but what a standard he's playing at so far this season on the clay. Baez has got some good numbers as well. 105 service points won every 10 points won total, and his whole break total is 110. So on the pure stats, you would have these prices the other way around. Baez got a pretty decent record against left-handers on the clay. He will be quite pleased that he played a lefty in his opening match. He beat Corentin Moutet, a lefty in the first round. That'll please him. He's 9-6 win-loss, Baez against lefty. So no discernible weakness as far as Baez is concerned against playing left-handers on this surface. But I'm tempted with Diaz Acosta here. I think if you're going to play this match, I would suggest that perhaps Diaz Acosta to win the opening set at plus 132 Bet Rivers could be the way to go here. It's kind of likely, isn't it, that if this goes long, you feel like Diaz Acosta's legs are going to go after everything he's done last week. But the way he's playing, the confident frame of mind that he's in, and he'll be very keen to get revenge on on Baez from a couple of weeks ago. So I think a strong start from Diaz Acosta is potentially the way to go in this one.
Yeah, plus 132 currently with Bet Rivers to win the first set for Diaz Acosta, the man who is in exceptionally good form. He's a younger player, and he's playing the form of his life, having the best run of his career, his start of his career, and we may see that continue with the first set. Remember, Bet Rivers have 29 different markets available on each of these matches, and you can see all those specials there. No official pick from Sean on this one. Is that just a lean? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lean this one, but it's certainly the way I would go if I was getting involved in this match. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the second match is in Brazil, obviously Rio, and it's an all Brazilian affair. The first one we had an all Argentinian affair. Now we have an all Brazilian affair where Thiago Monteiro plays Felipe Meligeni Rodriguez Alves. I think I've said that correct. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure you'll correct me, Sean.
I think you're about right there, to be fair.
Oh, well done. I'm chuffing myself there. I don't really know much about Rodriguez Alves, but he's obviously come through qualification here. He had a good first round win against Kachin. He's come through a couple of qualification rounds earlier on as well in Buenos Aires, but hasn't made a main draw, and he hasn't played a main draw at all on the ATP Tour this year, apart from his win against Cashin in Rio. So this is a big match for him against a countryman, Thiago Monteiro. There has been money though for the dog here. Meligeni Alves has been bet. Don't really know much about him, but I know you're going to tell me a lot about him. Minus 143 for Monteiro, plus 115 for Rodriguez Alves, and also here the spread here is 1.5 minus 113. You pay your money, you take your choice which way you want to go with Monteiro, giving up 1.5, or Meligeni Alves receiving 1.5, and the total exactly like the first game is 22.5. All Brazilian affair. Don't know much about the dog here, but he has seen support.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I can't find any statistical basis to back him. To be honest, I mean, obviously Monteiro had a huge stroke of fortune when Alcaraz rolled his ankle after a couple of games, so he'll be pleased with that. And obviously, well, not pleased that he's injured, but pleased that he's through against. We probably looked at that draw against Alcaraz and thought, oh, yeah, great. But he usually goes well in Rio, does Monteiro. His stats they're not eye popping, but for this particular tournament, but he's got a decent record: 8-7 win-loss, and a service points and return points win total of 98. It's pretty decent. A service hold break total of 95. He does tend to play above himself here in Rio. Much more experienced than Meligeni Alves. He's only played 3 main level matches, and all 3 of those came here in Rio. You know, he's much more at home on the Challenger circuit. We can look at his stats here, but they're not that relevant. He's only played 3 matches, and one of them was Dominic Thiem. You know, back in the day when Thiem was a tougher proposition than now. He also played Kekmanovic here and Cashin. So he's played 3, very decent players. So let's not worry too much about his Rio record. I think perhaps more relevant is their record on challenges, their respective record on clay in challenges in the last 12 months. Monteiro, 69% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 105. Meligeni, 58% win rate and 101 total. So for me, these prices are about right. Obviously, Monteiro is much more experienced playing on this big stage as well. He was a very heavy favourite when this pair met back in 2020. He was a minus 714 chance, was Monteiro, and he won that in straight sets. So I'm not sure where this sort of confidence in the underdog here is coming from. I like to back underdogs more than most, as you know, but I'm not seeing any statistical real basis for doing it here. I'd be backing perhaps Monteiro maybe on a slight handicap here if I was to get involved in this match.
He could possibly do Monteiro's form coming into it. I mean, he hasn't really been doing anything, so they might just want to oppose him against anybody, not the form of the.
He's done okay. I mean, he won a couple of Davis Cup matches. I mean, he's done all right. Made a final on clay, didn't he, in Montevideo back end of last year? But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that his form is bad enough to make people think he's going to lose to Meligeni Alves, but I'd be on Monteiro here on a slight handicap. I think that's the way to go here for me.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Alexander Bublik has beat Fucsovic 6-4 in the third set. Sorry, Sean.
I mean, basically, Bublik's beaten. Fucsovic has beaten himself, I think, is perhaps more accurate there. Classic Fucsovic lost a match that he should have won. What's going on the other court, by the way? Oh, Grenier. Popyrin's got Grenier, hasn't he? Oh, outright Popyrin He's that's working out quite well actually on the positive side. If he beats Grenier, which he hopefully will do, then he's got a good record against Public as well, Popperin. So reasons to be hopeful on that one, but disappointing that from Fuchs. We should have won that match all day long.
Disappointing indeed, but don't worry, still in profit over the last few days here on Game Bet Match. So don't worry too much about that. You know, we still got great shape with Popperin as well. If he gets through to the quarterfinals, we're holding 28-1 voucher on him, so that's really good. The final match, only 3 matches. It's a short one today because of the order of players dealt us a bad blow here, and it's Mariano Navone against Yannick Hanfmann. Navone is another Argentinian. He's 9-4 this year. Played an awful lot of tennis in qualification to get through these main events. He's played 3 matches already this week. He beat Courier in the first round here as well, after coming through 2 tough, well, not tough. He come through 2 fairly easy in his qualification routes. And Hanfmann, those was really good last night. He beat Nicolas Jarry, and who we thought might have a bit of a come down after beating Alcaraz and making the final last week, and got beat by Diaz Acosta.
And he's got Santiago next week, hasn't he, Jarry?
Yeah, and we made the case for him, didn't we, Hanfmann? We didn't play him on the money line, but we played him on the handicap, which was good. But hopefully some of you took the money on the money line as well here. But Hanfmann is obviously the German up against an Argentinian. Hanfmann is -141, and Navone is +114. The spread again, these are very similar prices, +1.5, -112, and -114, and the total is 22.5. More or less exactly the same as the other 2 matches, with over -108 and under the slight favourite at -118. Hanfmann cash for us yesterday, one of our leans here on the show. I think it was the official pick, but I think we sort of gave him some chance against Jarry. We oppose Jarry for the reasons you said there. Santiago next week. Was you impressed with Hanfmann, or did you think he just played a good time to face Jarry?
It probably was a good time to face Jarry. It was a peculiar match, that one. You wouldn't expect those two to split a couple of 6-1 sets the way that those two serve. Very peculiar. You wouldn't have expected that at all. But good win for Hanfmann. He'll be delighted with that. And this is a match he should win, really. I watched a bit of Navone against Alves in qualies here a few days ago. You know, he's not going to get you off your seat. He's got much excitement to his game. You know, he's only 5'10". You know, not the biggest guy, not the biggest to serve. He's got a very good forehand. He likes to dictate with that forehand when and where he can. Backhand's decent as well, but the forehand is his money shot. He made the final of Buenos Aires Challenger last month, and his win over Courier, which was a very fatigued Courier, you have to say. I think Navone was actually favourite for that, wasn't he? Because Courier's played an unbelievable amount of tennis in the last few weeks. That's his first main level victory, Navone, that win over Courier. But as I say, is a bit of a sort of caveat around that, because Courier was almost certainly very much less than fully fit, and Courier needs to be fully fit to play the style that he does. So very limited experience, Navone, at this level. He's only played 3 matches, very much like Meligeni Alves has. Let's have a look at his challenger record, last 12 months on clay. Pretty good, 71% win rate. And 105 service points won and return points won total, which I think is, it's about the same as Monteiro's total over the last 12 months on clay and challenger. So good record on challengers. The question is, can he step it up against a more powerful opponent in Hanfmann at main level in a huge tournament like Rio? Hanfmann's very good stats as well. Last 12 months at main level on the clay, 62% win rate. At a service points won and return points won total of 103, Hanfmann. So he's playing some very, very good tennis on this surface, obviously at a higher level than Navone has so far in his career. So I think this is an opportunity for Hanfmann. I'd be surprised if Navone were able to do this. As I said, I'd like to back the dogs, but I'm not seeing much in the game of Navone or the stats that really makes me think he's got a very good chance of beating Hanfmann. Again, I'd probably go for Hanfmann, maybe with a slight handicap, maybe 1.5 games or 2.5 games would be the way I would be playing this one.
Yeah, 1.5 is available at -114 for the German, giving up 1.5 against the Argentinian. So unfortunately, that's all we had. We just the 3 matches, no official picture, just a couple of leans.
Yeah, nothing official today. I think if I was being pressed into one, I'd perhaps take the Diaz Acosta to win the opening set as perhaps a little bit of value. It is a little bit speculative, but yeah, it's not the best selection of matches today, unfortunately. No. But there we are. Can't do anything about
Sometimes
the
the
schedule.
best betting advice is to have no bet. Sometimes the best bet is no bet, and it looks like one of those days
Well, the
that we
leans have
have.
been coming in as well, haven't they? So
Pardon, what
the
was that?
leans have been
Oh, the
the
leans,
leans
yes,
have been doing
yeah,
well this
yeah.
week as well. So if we'd have bet everything that we'd said on this show, I think we would have been in the last week or so. We would have been very much in a healthy profit. I
I
think.
think it would have been a clean sweep if Fuchsovic had won. I think everything we said, leans and
I think it
official
did,
picks have
yeah.
won. So we would have been in a really good shape. But obviously Fuchsovic has blown it from the position he was in there. What price did he hit in play? -$5?
Shorter than that, I think he was about in decimal. He was about 1.14 or something.
So -$6, -$7. Wow. So Fuchsovic, is he on the naughty step? We're not touch him again.
He's often on the naughty step, but I thought this was such a great situation for him. You know, to be underdog against Bublik in those conditions and to start the way the way he did, and you would have expected him to put it away, but he does have a slight brain issue when it comes to leads. He's all right when he's behind or level. When he gets ahead, that's when he starts thinking about it, and that's when the problems kick in, unfortunately.
Oh dear. Anyway, more bets next week. Busy week next week. We're back on Sunday previewing the big tournament over in Dubai. There is another tournament. There is Acapulco, and where else are we at next week? We're at
Santiago on the clay.
Oh yeah, so Santiago, Acapulco, and Dubai. So that will be the show will be dropping on Sunday, and then we'll have live content from Dubai where I'll be next week. And myself and Sean will be back again on Tuesday and Wednesday, giving you some more bets from the first round and the rounds of those tournaments as well. So lots of action here on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. Remember to download the podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, from your preferred podcast provider. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. Please give us a subscribe, give us a like. Any questions you have on there, I'm more than happy to answer any questions as well. And also follow us on our socials at Because We Win on Twitter and also on Instagram, where there'll be lots of content from the tournaments over the next few weeks. It'll be me in Dubai, and then Sean will be handing the baton to Sean, who'll be heading to Indian Wells. Sean, have a good day. No sign of the t-shirts yet? No t-shirts arrived? No bag?
No.
They've gone.
I mean, I don't know what's happened with that. You'll probably get it returned to you in about 3 weeks for some spurious reason. Maybe I don't know. That's what's going to happen. I think it certainly hasn't turned up here, so I don't know what's happened.
Unbelievable. Anyway, have a good day. Enjoy the tennis action over the weekend. Let's cheer on Popper and hopefully we can get him through to the quarterfinals and hopefully we can he progress and cash a ticket there. But it's been a good week. Don't worry about one slip up doesn't make a bad week. Fuchsovic on the naughty step, but we are still cashing tickets and in profit for the week. Have a good day. Take care.